Also this month, high school seniors across North Texas will graduate, and while there's a lot to celebrate, they face a tough reality.
Yeah, for those heading straight to work, they will enter the toughest job market in a generation. But if they go to college, it won't be cheap, and there's no guarantee of a job waiting for them 4 years down the road. So in the final installment of our Graduates Roundtable, we talk about their expectations.
When you hear the news reports, we report on it every morning, of how bleak the job market is for graduates. They're making less money. Some of them are having to live at home with their parents because they can't afford to make it on their own. Do you think to yourself, gosh, I hope it's better by 2016?
Yes.
Every day.
Certainly hope so.
Right?
Yes, and I think that's something that it's bothering a lot of people. I've been reading some articles, and to be honest, it goes back to the student debt that a lot of people get once they go to college, because they come out. There's people that come out with $100,000 in student debt, and it's shocking the way that things that they have to do to be able to pay it back. So, but I always tell people, you always got to have hope. You can't look at the future and say there is no hope. If you don't have hope in the future, then
if you go into something and say it's going to always be bleak, and you never take the first step, then it's really going to be bleak.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so. I try to maintain a positive attitude. By 2016, we'll get there. For me, it'll be 2019 because I do want to go to law school.
Okay.
So that'll add an additional 3 years. So let's hope by 2019 the economy will be better.
As long as you work hard, as long as you just don't let any of the barriers stop you, and you set your own standards, regardless of what anybody has to say, you will get to where you want to get.
Love that determination. Yeah. Well, this morning we did kickstart a conversation on social media. So when we talk about graduating from high school, we also want to know what you wish you would have known when you were about to make that big step. And what advice would you give these students that we talked to in our roundtable? Let's check in right now with producer Kristen in the control room at Young Street for some reaction. Hey, Kristen.
Hey, guys. Oh, my gosh. If I'd known then what I know now. Lois, she said she wishes she would have known how expensive it was to live on your own, rent, car insurance, utilities, food, plus furniture, household goods. It all adds up. And Jennifer, you say, I wish I had known then, what I know now, that life is tough and you have to work at it to make it good. There are no handouts.
You know what Lois says here, I think, speaks to a really important point, that we focus on the degree, we focus on everything about this abstract real world, when really the real skills come into managing the day-to-day stuff that you don't think about. And she raises a good point, like really knowing, even at an earlier age in high school, what the realities of living on your own are and what the expenses associated with it are, money management.
Money management is so tough.
Money management, exactly.
And that's a conversation I think that needs to always continue between parents and their kids, no matter how old the kids are.
Which is why someone recommended Dave Ramsey's book for a high school senior on managing your money.
Right. Jamelia says, I wish I would have learned how to be more diplomatic in the workplace, because sometimes the world can be a very small place.
Boy, how many of us have learned that one?
Alondria
says this, when my mom said money doesn't grow on trees, oh, how I know what she meant about that. You know about it, right? When you have to, there's a theme emerging tonight, and it has to do with the real world of money management.
Yeah.
And Linda says that people see you the way you see yourself. Although I have to say I was incredibly impressed with the students we talked to from DISD. So many of them, among those 6, have dealt with challenges that those who come from families of privilege don't have to deal with, and they've been left with it's been a character building exercise.
Absolutely.
And they seem very self-aware about that.
Very self-aware, and they have an appreciation that's pretty profound.
Yep.
Well, good roundtable discussion.